The hospital corridor smelled of antiseptic and quiet despair. Machines hummed softly behind closed doors, and somewhere down the hall, a monitor beeped in a steady, indifferent rhythm. In room 317, a little girl lay perfectly still, her thin legs tucked beneath a blanket she no longer felt. Maya was 7 years old. For 6 months she hadn't taken a single step. Her mother, Elena, sat beside the bed, fingers wrapped tightly around Maya's hand, afraid that if she let go, something else might slip away too. Doctors had come and gone, each one wearing the same confident expression, each one leaving behind the same sentence: "We've done everything we can." They were not ordinary doctors. They were the best money could buy. Specialists flown in, tests repeated, machines whirring late into the night. Billionaire-funded research, experimental therapies, endless consultations. Nothing changed. Maya still couldn't walk. Elena stared at the framed scans on the wall, bright images that showed damage but no answers. She had cried until tears no longer came. Now there was only numbness. "Mama," Maya whispered one afternoon, her voice small but steady. "Will I ever run again?" Elena forced a smile. "Of course, sweetheart," she lied gently, brushing Maya's hair back. "You just need rest." But when Maya fell asleep, Elena collapsed into a chair and covered her face, her shoulders shaking silently. That was when Daniel arrived. He stood hesitantly in the doorway, holding a small backpack in one hand. He was a single father, invited almost as a last resort by a nurse who had once seen him help children during volunteer therapy sessions. He wasn't a doctor. He didn't wear a white coat. He didn't speak in complicated terms. "I heard Maya likes stories," he said softly. Elena looked up, skeptical but too tired to argue. Daniel knelt beside the bed, meeting Maya at eye level. "I know something about not giving up," he told her gently. "Sometimes legs forget what they can do. We just have to remind them." The room felt different somehow, quieter, warmer. Elena watched, unsure why her heart began to beat faster. For the first time in months, hope didn't come from machines or experts. It came from a man who simply believed. Daniel returned the next morning right on time. No clipboard, no charts, just patience. Maya's eyes lit up when she saw him. "Are you back already?" she asked. "I told you," he smiled. "I don't quit on my friends." The doctors watched from the doorway, arms crossed, expressions polite but doubtful. One of them whispered, "This won't change anything." Elena heard, but said nothing. She had nothing left to lose. Daniel sat beside Maya and spoke softly, not about walking, not about muscles or nerves, but about fear. "Your legs are listening to you," he said. "They remember every fall, every pain. They're scared." Maya frowned. "Like me?" "Exactly like you." He nodded. He didn't ask her to stand. Instead, he asked her to close her eyes. "Imagine your feet touching the ground," he said, "not moving, just touching." Minutes passed. Maya's breathing slowed. Her toes twitched, barely, but enough for Elena to gasp. "Did you see that?" Elena whispered. The doctors leaned forward. Day after day, Daniel returned. Each session was small, gentle. He never pushed, never rushed. When Maya grew tired, he stopped. When she cried, he listened. He taught her games, rolling a ball with her feet, tapping rhythms on the mattress, telling her leg stories of how they once ran. Slowly, the stiffness eased. Sensation returned in whispers. One afternoon, Daniel placed Maya's feet on the floor. "Not today," Elena whispered, fear gripping her chest. "Not walking," Daniel reassured, "just remembering." Maya sat at the edge of the bed, feet touching the cold tile. Her face tightened, but she didn't pull back. "I'm scared," she said. "So am I," Daniel admitted. "But fear doesn't mean stop, it means go gently." Maya nodded. The doctors exchanged uneasy glances. This wasn't in any textbook. Later that night, Elena watched Maya sleep with her feet uncovered, toes slightly curled, as if alive again. For the first time in months, Elena allowed herself to hope, and somewhere deep inside Maya, something long forgotten began to wake up. The room was unusually quiet that morning. Even the doctors had gathered, drawn by something they couldn't explain but could no longer ignore. Maya sat on the edge of the bed, her feet planted firmly on the floor, hands gripping the sheets. Her breathing was shallow, her eyes fixed on Daniel. "You don't have to do anything you don't want to," Daniel said gently. Today isn't about proving anything. Maya swallowed. I want to try. Elena's heart hammered so loudly she was sure everyone could hear it. She stood just behind her daughter, ready to catch her, afraid to blink. Daniel knelt in front of Maya and placed his hands lightly on her knees, not to force, only to guide. Remember the ground, he whispered. It's been waiting for you. Maya pushed. Her legs trembled violently. For a terrifying second it looked like they might give out, but they didn't. She stood. The room gasped as one. Elena covered her mouth, tears spilling freely. Oh my God, she whispered. Maya's eyes widened in shock. I'm standing. Yes, Daniel smiled. You never forgot how. Carefully, slowly, Daniel took one step back. Just one step, he said, toward me. Maya lifted her foot. It felt heavy, foreign, but she moved it forward and placed it down. One step, then another. Elena's knees buckled. She collapsed to the floor, sobbing, her hands pressed to her face as years of fear poured out at once. The doctors stood frozen, disbelief written across their faces. No machines, no injections, no miracle drug. Just patience, trust, and belief. Maya laughed, a sound no one had heard in months, and ran straight into her mother's arms. I did it, Mama. Elena hugged her tightly, unable to speak, her tears soaking Maya's hair. Daniel quietly stepped back, giving them space. A doctor approached him, voice unsteady. What did you do? Daniel shook his head. I didn't fix her, he said. She fixed herself. I just reminded her she could. As Daniel left the room, no one stopped him. They were too busy watching a little girl walk. And in that moment, Elena understood something no amount of money had taught her. Sometimes the greatest healing doesn't come from power or wealth. It comes from love, patience, and someone who refuses to give up on you.